What's going on, guys? Mecha is here from the Marvel Legends X-Men wave. I have Phoenix. Let's do it.
Level 130 is in progress. Prepare for launch in 3, 2.
Step out of your world and step into mine.
Welcome back, guys, to another Marvel Legends action figure review, and I have from the brand new X-Men Legends series, Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Waves, Phoenix. Now, this is one of the cooler versions of Jean Grey, as you can see in her green and yellow Phoenix outfit. Now, while I do love the character design, this figure looks a little plain, so we'll have to see when we actually get her in hand. Alright, let's talk about your standard window box packaging that is used for all of these X-Men Legends. You can see the Build-A-Figure Juggernaut logo on the top left. You got the X-Men logo, Legend Series, a nice window view of the figure enclosed with the gigantic torso of the Juggernaut. But unfortunately, a lot of empty space because there doesn't seem to be any accessories. X-Men, Marvel's Phoenix. On both sides of the box, you have some nice artwork of Phoenix that just looks so amazing. And then you have the image posed up in front of that yellow lighting. On the top of the box, you got Marvel Legends Series logo. An expert of psionic force, Jean Grey uses her powers of telepathy and telekinesis as the mind-controlling hero, Phoenix. And towards the bottom of the box, you have the entire lineup of this amazing wave for the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure. And I have reviewed a bunch of these guys. I got more on the way, so make sure you guys subscribe. All right, let's take a look at Phoenix outside of this box, and let's see what she's all about. Now, here is Phoenix outside of her packaging, and from this angle, she looks pretty cool. There are some obvious flaws with this figure, which I'm going to point out to you guys. But she does come with this gigantic piece of the Juggernaut, which I cannot wait to build. So awesome. And she stands at about 6 1/4 inches in height, so she is a tall drink of water. All right, let's take a closer look at Phoenix. All right, taking a look at her head sculpt, you can see, like I mentioned before, her face does look a little plain. I mean, I think they could have done a better job with the face sculpt here. This is the woman that Wolverine and Cyclops were always fighting about. But for what they do have, they actually painted very well. You can see the green eyes, nicely centered, nice and vibrant colors there. Her dark red lipstick cleanly applied, and then you have those nice crisply painted eyebrows. Now, the flesh tone paint is also done very well. Just the sculpt, maybe they have too many wrinkles down by her lips and her chin area. But on the other hand, looking from her side profile, she looks gorgeous. So this is going to be a figure, and I'm going to get to a few flaws that you're going to have to hide her weaknesses in order to make her look amazing on your display shelf. Great job with the ears. You can see the nice separation between that flesh tone paint and the sculpt and paint of her hair. So great job there. Now, speaking of her hair, this is the same exact hair sculpt that was used with the Jim Lee Jean Grey. So you can see it's all done in red this time around instead of brown with a nice wash. So great sculpt all the way throughout. I love the waviness and all of that action going on. Now, if you remember the Jim Lee Jean Grey, she had that blue mask sculpted in the sides and on her forehead. And don't worry, I'm going to show her in a little bit, give you guys a comparison. But they took that hair that belonged in that bigger head sculpt, they put it on top of this thinner head sculpt, so it looks like a big chunk is missing right there, and then you have a big cut. You see from the big hair to the scalp there, a big gigantic cut that does not look good at all. So again, you're going to have to maybe turn her head to the side. That looks great, but then when you turn it to this side, not so much. And I almost forgot to mention, she has this extra flap of skin, which is kind of disturbing. I didn't know Hasbro was sculpting in moles. But as you can see there, it's just an extra piece of plastic just dangling off her chin. Now, I have two Phoenixes, one in the box, and both of them came with this extra flap there. So it's obviously a manufacturer error. But hopefully, when you guys pick yours up, you won't have that, and you won't have to play customizer and try and cut that off like I'm going to have to. Now, taking a look at her body, she has a fantastic build to her. A lot of reused parts from the old Maria Hill, Sharon Carter 2-pack. And then you have some newer pieces like these hips, which actually make her legs a lot longer. And she has this newer middle torso area with that more fuller buttocks region. But it is a great looking, aesthetically pleasing female figure, so I'm not complaining there. The issue that I do have with it is that the green plastic that they use is very flat. I wish they would have painted on the green and made it more vibrant. But the paint applications that they did add are fantastic. You can see the nice clean job on the sleeves, on her thigh-high boots, and especially on that amazing looking Phoenix emblem. How clean is that, especially coming off that black background? Great job there for what they did do. And then you have these forearm pieces and by her thighs and lower legs, which in that it has that golden sheen to it, but then like we've seen with other Marvel Legends in the past, it kind of got a swirliness effect going on to it. Now, I don't know if that's because of the plastic or just the type of paint they're using. So here you can see that swirliness that I was talking about. Just see it's not all uniform in color. It kind of has some darkened areas. Now, this is just a skin-tight outfit that everything is just painted over, which is pretty much how she was in the comic books. But I would have loved some extra sculpted detail, like for her thigh-high boots, maybe for her arm sleeves there. It would have been cool if they added in a little bit of of extra plastic and sculpted in the front, especially by those triangular areas. And then she has this lovely sash here that is done in the gold plastic, nicely sculpted, and is a trademark look to Jean Grey. Now with the articulation, it's pretty standard for your Marvel Legends figure, but this Jean Grey Phoenix here, because of the gigantic hair sculpt, is very limited in terms of rotation of her head. The head is on a ball hinge, as you can see, as it popped right off, because when you rotate, you can turn it side to side just a little bit to get some angles, you know, when displaying it, but if you're trying to go the full 360, it's totally gonna pop off. You have a rotation at the shoulder, you got some extension that can go all the way up like that, and then can go down to the side like so. Great range of motion at the elbow with a rotation and a hinge. We have a rotation also at the wrist and a hinge at the wrist, so she can do those cool telekinesis poses. We do have this nice diaphragm joint that we've seen before, so you can rotate the full 360, and I love the diaphragm joints on these females because you can really get them in some cool looking poses with their, you know, with their hips closer to their back and all. What kind of crazy stuff am I talking about? All right, I'm losing myself, guys. So we can go back, we can go forward, we can go side to side is what I'm trying to say. Now you have this hip joint here, but then you also have this brand new butt sculpt. So her range of motion is limited going backwards. To the side, she can go up a little bit, but she can kick forward a good amount. She does have that thigh cut rotation right there, full 360, double jointed knees, and then we have a nice hinge at the ankle, and we also have an ankle pivot. So very cool. Now, even though she does have great range of motion with her ankle rocker, I do recommend using a display base because she is very difficult to stand with these tiny little feet. So here I have the Jim Lee Jean Grey on the left, and I have the new Phoenix on the right. So both, as you can see, have the same hair sculpt, with this one being in brown and this one in the fiery red, but the head sculpts are different. Just wanted to point that out to you guys. You can see this is a much bigger head here for the Jim Lee version. Now taking a look at their side profiles, you can see how they at least tried to sculpt them in a similar fashion, with the noses pretty much being almost identical, and you have the perky lips, but they are different head sculpts. And then you have the body, which is a lot slimmer on the Phoenix one because you have all this sculpted detail going on with the shoulder pads. And then you have the hip joints, which are different as well. These are the new hip joints. And as you can see, the butt is also a lot different on the Phoenix. Now, while I am very happy to have a Jim Lee Jean Grey in my collection, I have to give this one to the Phoenix because it is much more aesthetically pleasing. I just wish they did a better job with the face sculpt. Now, take a look at the Toy Biz Phoenix up against the Hasbro Phoenix. Of course, sculpting, paint applications, character design, everything has come a long way since the Toy Biz era, but the Toy Biz era is trumping this Hasbro version in certain aspects. For instance, the green that I mentioned before. Even though the Toy Biz era does not have that golden paint, it does have that nice glossy green paint that is really standing out and making the character pop a lot more. And it also has this awesome fiery beast behind it. You got the Phoenix display stand that came with this figure. Now, unfortunately, the Hasbro version came with 0 accessories. The Juggernaut is not an accessory for this figure. And, you know, certain characters, especially of the X-Men, that are iconic and known for certain things. I mean, come on, you can't have Phoenix without a fiery bird behind it, right? So there you have it, guys, my video review of the X-Men Legends series Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Waves Phoenix. Now, Hasbro is almost there with making the perfect Jean Grey for our collection. I really wish this Phoenix came with some accessories, like the fiery flight stand that I showed you guys, some projectiles. I mean, that face sculpt does need a lot of work, but it's still a decent figure. I actually like it a lot more than I thought I would. But thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up and check out my channel for other reviews I've done. And I have so many cool things coming your way, so make sure you all like, subscribe, comment, and share. You know what to do. Peace.